welcome to the Red Menace. We're bringing you the latest and greatest stories from
our bedrooms.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with.
In.
It's hard to come up with a new one given context.
Given context, it is, and because also if we admit that we're outside our homes, we probably will be arrested and fined a lot of money by the police.
I do wonder when people listen back to this show in many years, as I'm sure they certainly will, and it definitely won't be forgotten to time, so like leaves in the wind.
Oh, absolutely. It won't be. It won't be like the myriad of other content that's just going to disappear off the face of the planet.
No, this is definitely going to be one that's like kept in the National Archives.
Right, exactly. It's got longevity.
I'm curious how well our Roni period is going to age, because...
Well, I feel like there's going to be a time in the future where kiddies are studying history and they're looking for stuff that is related to this period, and they're like,
are you saying we're kind of doing a service?
We're doing a service to the world by creating content in this time. Exactly, for their education, so that when they're looking for things relating to the coronavirus and how people lived during the coronavirus, they'll open our podcast and be like, this is life during Corona.
Yeah,
making
this is a
shit content that not many people are going to access, but you're doing it anyway because you've got nothing else to do.
We are a time capsule.
We are.
And if you are listening to this in 2025, maybe just like skip ahead 40 or so episodes.
Yeah.
And you'll get to like the new stuff where we're both like, we've both gotten really buff. We're both like very successful EDM.
Absolutely.
We're both very successful EDM DJs by then. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on in our lives.
Absolutely. Just listen forward to that. Listen forward to when Chris is nominated as the Prime Minister, but then very quickly gets backstabbed and there's another leadership spill.
What's wild is I get the Nobel Prize for it. Who would have thunk it?
Right, exactly. Crazy times. Do you know what else is crazy? Corona.
Great segue, Alison. Fucking amazing segue.
So I've already said this to you, Chris, but I think this is a really important message to share with everyone who is our listeners, because I think, they need to know the truth about coronavirus.
Corona.
So I joined a bunch of Facebook groups just to kind of get information about what's happening outside.
Because you're a madman.
I am a madman. You join all the suburb Facebook groups and then you find out all the wild shit that's happening around the city that you cannot go into because of Corona. Anyway, there's this letter that's been floating around in the Newtown 2042 group. A lot of citizens of Newtown seem to be getting the same letter in their mailbox with some really important information I think everyone needs to know about the coronavirus. If you will, Chris, if you don't mind, I would like to share with you and everyone else this important information.
This is a public service announcement.
It is a public service announcement. So firstly, let me just describe the piece of paper that I'm looking at. It is, in fact, one long paragraph. There are no paragraph breaks. There are no dot points or anything. Now, it's all in the one font except for one part where it gets really big and bold.
Yum.
And then there is, there's a URL that's included which links through to a PDF. This is a not handwritten letter, sorry. This is a typed letter that has been printed off with a link to a PDF on it. Which I think is really important.
I love when I click on a physical link. That's like my favourite thing to do.
You just pop your finger onto the link.
Opening a link in a phone just doesn't have that same kind of tactile feedback as like when you open it in real life. So and you press the link and the website springs forth from the page.
Let me read this to you so that you know the truth. The coronavirus is a scam. Dear citizen, you have been deceived by the media, government, pharmaceutical companies and doctors. It has been known for at least 150 years that germs do not cause disease.
Okay, several things. One,
Firstly,
obviously this is insane. Secondly, there is no more sketchy sounding greeting than citizen.
Dear citizen.
I'm just like, oh, so you're like a psychopath. Okay, cool.
Right, exactly. Something is definitely wrong with you.
Like, oh, you think Blade Runner's real? Okay, cool.
This was proven by the biologist by the name of Antoine Béchamp. He was a contemporary of Louis Pasteur, and it was proven that germs are the result of a disease and are not the cause of it. Recent technology and understanding of vitamins has further confirmed this information. Okay.
I just love the way you pronounce vitamins.
Vitamins.
You say it with such vigor, with such
vitamins. With such vigor. Disease is unnatural and doesn't occur by itself in nature. Humans have strayed from nature by growing cereal crops to store for the winter period when foods are scarce. Unfortunately, there is a hidden cost in eating grain food. When plants make a seed, they add toxic chemicals and sharp edges to discourage foraging animals from eating grass seeds and some tree seeds.
Can you imagine a T-Rex, or like any dinosaur, looking into the future and seeing humans getting like the flu and being like, you fucking idiots growing your plants.
You fucking dumb-ass piece of shit.
There's a reason we just eat each other and poop. Like, there's an intention.
Number one, seeds are sharp.
Seeds are very sharp and bad for your insides.
That's what's bad about seeds. They have toxic chemicals and they're sharp edges.
Quinoa seeds, don't want to touch it. It'll kill you.
It's very pointy, very spiky.
Sunflower seeds, oh, they're like little bullets for your tummy.
When animals eat grain seeds, the toxic chemicals and sharp edges irritate the gut, causing inflammation of the gut lining, full stop, brackets, starting here, leaky gut syndrome, close bracket, no full stop.
Leaky guts, I mean, I have that, but I don't know if it's grain-induced.
Yeah.
I think it's like a combination of wine and bad genetics.
Probably
induced.
Dairy is somewhere included in that leaky gut syndrome. Look,
just like all of the good things.
We know leaky gut syndrome. It is science that leaky gut syndrome is it's caused by sharp seeds.
Because they puncture the outside of the tummy, and the tummy can't keep the things in.
Absolutely.
My tummy's basically mesh. I've just got all this yogurt floating around in the fluids.
Rest of your body cavity.
Every time I cough, a little bit of yogurt comes out. It's wild.
Christ. This causes gaps in the gut lining to expand, which allows gut bacteria and any food material to enter the bloodstream.
I mean, yeah, Alison, I don't know if I've told you this, but last time I bled, it was not a red colour. It was
There was a few cornflakes in there last time that I bled.
A few cornflakes in there. It was quite viscous and yogurt-like. I don't eat anything but yogurt. The worst one was after I went to a steakhouse and then I cut myself and little steak chunks came out. That wasn't very nice.
It stacks up. The science stacks up. When you eat sharp seeds, it cuts holes in your stomach and the food escapes into your bloodstream.
Well, I was wondering, like, what about the steak was going to cut up my tummy, but I figured out it's because they put seasoning on it, and that's made of seeds.
It's the little peppercorns. They're seeds. They will cut open your stomach.
Just like little fucking knives that you eat. They go down there, slice it up, and the steak gets everywhere.
Okay. Also, grain is deficient in vitamins, which humans need. Grain is a high-octane fuel designed for birds. When humans eat grain, it causes an acceleration of their metabolic rate and a small increase in body temperature. A doctor would call this a fever. But this fever is not caused by germs, but by fast-digesting sugars from grain, milk sugar, and...
Is he saying that bread gives you a fever?
Well, what he's saying, Chris, is that that grains are a high-octane fuel designed for birds, and when human eats it, we don't use the energy, so we get a fever.
Bread is the nitrous of food. That's... I mean, in terms
absolutely.
I mean, it's not inaccurate. But I will say, the older you get, some of those grain foods like pasta and spaghetti have the opposite effect, and it's kind of like I've put just a lot of sludge into my body instead of the nitrous.
Do you want to know the truth, though? This is the really shocking fact from this. We know that, it's not caused by germs, but by fast-digesting sugars from grain, milk, and sugar sources. This is the true cause of 99% of all human disease. Special note in brackets. Note, junk food causes diseases, not germs, close bracket. That's why coronavirus mostly occurs on cruise ships, theme parks, and fast food outlets.
Because they're fucking
now we've gone to the huge
of sin.
We've gone to the huge font, huge, bold, black font. There is only one human disease, which is called vitamin deficiency disease. There are not thousands of different diseases, Chris. You fool.
Bread causes cancer. Heard it here today.
The high-octane grain fuel designed for birds causes cancer. And that's...
Can you imagine you saw someone in like a beanie, someone who was obviously undergoing chemo, and you were just like, you shouldn't have eaten the whole grain. That's what fucks you.
So much grain. It's so sharp. The whole grain has so many sharp edges in it. It's going to cut open your stomach. The yogurt's going to escape into your bloodstream and cause cancer.
If you look at whole grain through a microscope, it's actually lots of tiny shurikens in
Well,
there.
Chris, speaking of microscopes, you know what's coming next. But I feel like we need to talk a little bit about the credentials of this person.
Yes.
Now, this person so kindly lays out in the next part of this letter how they are verified to be able to talk about such things. You know, they've made a big claim.
They're making a lot of very bold claims.
That
Leaky
there are
Gut
no
Syndrome
diseases.
wise.
There's only one called vitamin deficiency disease. I'm thinking, who is this lunatic and why are they writing this? Well, Chris, they're not a lunatic. In fact, they have the credentials to know this for sure. Let me read. It says, there is no such thing as viruses. I know, because I have worked in an electron microscope unit where I learned how to use all the equipment. I also learned about the electron microscope's limitations as well. An electron microscope wouldn't be able to find a virus, in inverted commas, if in fact they did exist, because you can't photograph what you can't find. Note, all alleged photos of viruses are blurry images. Why? This is a deliberate deception because viruses don't exist. So they have to make the photos unclear so that nobody can see that the photos are of cell debris and are not photos of viruses.
What they do is they take photos of cell debris and they export it as a really low quality JPEG, and they just
Absolutely.
They export it like 6 times, and it comes out as the fucking Polaroid blurry ass image of a virus that we get.
Exactly. What they've done really is they've taken the really high quality photo.
I've seen the original.
Of cell debris.
Alison, you can't even download it. You have to buy the Blu-ray of the original photo.
What they do with this cell debris photo is they upload it to Facebook, and then they take a screenshot of the photo on Facebook and share it on WhatsApp. And then they download the WhatsApp photo and upload it onto Imager with like the caption at the top and the bottom, like a meme. Yes. And then what someone's done then is they've taken that meme, downloaded it, cropped it, and then that photo, that cropped photo from the Imager download, that is a photo of a virus. That's how they do it.
And I think that's how we need to do all photos from now on. Just to make them work for it.
Look, I'm going to skip a little second here because this is where we get into the links that have been posted. There's some references there, so if you want to go ahead and click this on the physical hard copy of a letter that's been dropped in your mailbox, then you can.
Well, presumably you know how to do that because you've worked with that mailbox for a few years and you know how the mailbox works and how to use all the equipment.
Right, exactly. You've worked in a mailbox lab, so you know how to click a link on a physical hard copy letter. Viruses are illogical nonsense. You can't be dead 1 minute and alive the next. Well, Jesus Christ might have something to say about that, but you know.
my best friend Jesus disagrees.
My best mate Jesus might have something to say about that, but anyway, let's not
to
dwell on
Jesus
that.
Was the
shout out to JC.
Anniversary of his death last week, so pretty rough time for him, but he came back and that was pretty fresh, pretty cool.
He was dead 1 minute and alive the next. This letter is disproved, basically. A virus is something that has no brain, legs, nervous system, sight, ears, and wouldn't be able to survive in a real world. Don't be fooled by medical and government officials who hope to gain profit, power, and money and population control from this huge global scam. Help to stop the advance of this pharmaceutical industry dictatorship.
Do you think that the guy looks at like a fish and he's like, it doesn't have legs, can't survive, it's a fucking lie?
It can't survive in the real world. What a joke. It's not
real. Fish
Absolutely.
are a scam.
It is a scam.
Whales? Bullshit. Only idiots believe in whales.
There's some great comments on that. Some other people, because someone's posted this to the Facebook group, and look, a lot of people really enjoy this letter.
Understandable. I really enjoy this letter.
Stephen Fuller has written, "You received free toilet paper."
Oh, actually, unrelated. I managed to buy toilet paper today. You know who's that's fucking good. Man? Me. Please continue.
You are the man. Eli Lamplu has said, "What a brilliant awareness campaign. I couldn't stop eating my cereal whilst reading that one."
I do want to eat some cereal is the weird thing. I have a craving.
I kind of want to eat cereal after reading this.
I will probably do that after we finish this recording, is go and get some cereal.
Yeah, look, I just thought I'd share that really important piece of news with everyone, just in case that the letter hasn't reached you. Because I think it's important that everyone knows that they need to stop eating sharp food which will cut open their stomach and allow food to enter their bloodstream and become coronavirus.
You just don't want to get leaky gut syndrome, you know? Like, it's not...
Exactly.
It's bad.
I'm doing a service for the world by sharing that.
Can I bring you a story since you just did all of that?
Absolutely.
So this I found on Twitter. Someone posted it. I forget who. They didn't send it to me personally, so I don't feel obliged to shout them out. It's on CNN Travel. It's written by Rob Pachetta.
Great.
Headline.
His name sounds a little bit like pancetta, which is delicious. And I think I will eat after we finish recording.
Also want to eat. I'm quite hungry, I'm realising. A 64-year-old man accidentally ejected himself from a fighter jet at 2,500 feet.
Oh dear, that's not ideal.
A surprise company outing to an airbase caused a 64-year-old Frenchman so much stress that he flung himself from a fighter jet in midair, grabbing the ejector button in a panic and tumbling through the skies above France before landing in a field.
Oh dear.
The man had been surprised by employees at his firm who had organised a joyride in the Dassault Rafale B jet as him for a treat. Mm-hmm. But they apparently didn't know their colleague as well as they thought. Once the man arrived at the Saint-Dizier airbase in northeastern France in March 2018 and realised what his co-workers had arranged, he began to feel extremely stressed, according to a fairly remarkable aviation accident report by a French government agency.
Imagine being the person who has to write this report.
I know,
the
right?
aviation accident report, and you're like, God damn it, a guy ejected himself from a fighter jet because he was feeling stressed. I mean, I kind of want to eject myself from the fighter jet of life right now. Just
100%.
Shoot off into the abyss is what I mean. Like, into the void.
I get that. Just have a nice, long, forever sleep.
Yeah, in the void.
Call the mental health hotline. The unnamed man had never expressed any desire to fly in a fighter jet and had no previous military aviation experience, investigators discovered. And thanks to a watch he was wearing which could measure his heart rate, investigators noticed that his heart rate was full tachycardia before the flight, with a recorded heart rate ranging from 136 to 142 beats per minute. Which is like, that's a few. That's a few too many. A solid workout he's doing through pure stress.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean...
a good weight loss technique is just put in really stressful situations.
Just jump off things.
Get that blood pumping.
But the man went through with the ride, joining a 3-plane training exercise as a passenger. The Rafale B is used by the French Air Force and has a maximum speed of nearly 1,400 kilometres per hour.
Oh, jeez.
When the jet was at 2,500 feet above ground and the pilot began to climb, the passenger panicked and reached for something to hold on to. Unfortunately, that something was the ejector seat button.
Oh, not ideal!
And the 65-year-old flew from the fighter jet. To make matters worse, he had not securely attached his helmet, which went flying in midair.
Oh, boy.
Fortunately, the man avoided serious injury after parachuting to the earth in a field near the German border. Investigators concluded that the error was caused by an involuntary reflex prompted by stress and the jet's sudden movement. The pilot was not ejected and managed to land the plane safely, despite suffering some major facial injuries because of the ordeal.
Firstly, I must say I'm glad he's okay, because I did laugh quite hard at this story.
Yes.
But also, I think the thing that's most shareable about this story is just how relatable his whole experience is.
Yeah.
Getting put into a very stressful situation by your co-workers who are trying to do a treat for you.
And just holding on to anything for dear life and accidentally making it so much worse.
Right,
in
exactly.
that process.
Exactly. Also, follow-up point. So this is obviously a service that this Air Force jet does as, like, you know, a little bit of fun for the public.
Presumably.
Why do they have an evacuation seat
such
button?
An easily accessible get the fuck out
accessible.
Button. Yeah, it's
It does
wild.
not seem ideal that they'd have that just in the commercial passenger seat. Presumably, they have some kind of way to, like, veto the ejector button seat, but it doesn't seem like an ideal thing for it to be right next to the passenger seat.
They looked at this man who was just the living incarnation of panic, and they were like, no, he'll be right. We'll just leave it on.
We'll just let him touch the ejector button seat and allow him into the plane. Nothing could go wrong.
You're just in, like, mid-air going at, like, the speed of sound, and you just look at him being like, so do you want to play with any of it? Like, do you want to have a fiddle with any of the buttons, any of the toys, see what they do? And then, you know, he goes into the sky.
Yeah. He just goes straight for the ejector button seat. And
It sounds pretty fun, though, I'll admit.
I mean, he didn't pay for a skydiving experience, but he certainly did get one.
Exactly.
Oh, dear.
That would be so fucking scary.
Oh, if I accidentally pressed the ejector button seat and got blasted off into the...
Like Team Rocket.
Yeah, you don't... I mean, you're not expecting it at that point. You're kind of holding on because you're, like... You're deadly fearful. But
At that point, you just assume you've had a stroke or something. Like, right. This is not happening.
This is not real life. This isn't, you know,
also,
real life like the
presumably the parachute
disease.
was automated, because otherwise he'd be a pancake right now, I think.
Well, I would guess so. I would guess that it was an automated thing. It doesn't seem like a very good idea. I'm just going to throw that out there from the company's end to organise this plane trip for a guy that they don't know if he likes planes.
What a wild thing to get your boss as a gift.
Maybe that's what they wanted, though.
That's true. This is a power play from them. They wanted to watch him shit his pants so they could hold it over him forever.
Absolutely. So when he comes down and his pants are soiled, thoroughly soiled, his pants are, they take a photo
Thanks for
of
clarifying
him. And they can use that for blackmail later. But
exactly.
They did not expect him to eject himself from the plane.
It'll be brown mail.
Okay. Yeah,
do you have a story
if you
for
want to
me,
get technical.
Alison?
I've got a few stories. Unfortunately, they are all corona-related, as is life right now.
I'm sorry.
Let's go into this one. Let's go into this story from Malaysia, because then I've got two more from Australia.
Okay.
And this is from the Malay Mail, and it's by Jerry Chung. And it says, Sugar Baby donates monthly allowance to Sungai Buloh Hospital in support of COVID-19 frontliners.
That's so wholesome. I love it.
This is very wholesome. So we've got a photo here of the Sugar Baby in question handing over a cheque to the hospital so they can get the COVID-19 items.
I got fucked, so you don't have to.
Absolutely. In an unusual move, a former air stewardess turned Sugar Baby has donated Malaysian... I forget what the bloody currency is. RM8,000 to the frontline personnel of Sungai Buloh Hospital in their fight against COVID-19 pandemic. The 28-year-old woman, who only wanted to be known as Natalie, said she was tired of worrying about many of the frontliners who have been risking their lives and decided to donate the amount said to be her entire monthly allowance from her sugar daddy.
What a good soul.
This is wholesome content we're reading here. Having been through many of life's challenging circumstances, I for one know what it is like going through hardships, although I cannot quite imagine the levels of turmoil these medical frontliners are enduring. With barely much time to take care of themselves or even enjoy a simple meal to begin with, she was quoted as saying. It is understood Natalie met her 38-year-old entrepreneur sugar daddy on the dating app Sugarbook in 2017. Firstly, this girl's really winning if she's got a 38-year-old sugar daddy.
That's pretty solid.
That's a pretty good age for your sugar daddy to be if you're a 28-year-old woman.
Workable.
It is workable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's 28. He's only 10 years older than her. He's an entrepreneur, so he's got money to spend.
It's like look, there are definitely worse ways to spend your time.
Absolutely. You know? I mean, she got lucky with this sugar daddy.
Yeah.
For sure. The amount donated by Natalie was used to purchase various items for frontliners, including food supplies and toiletries. Sungai Buloh Hospital's corporate social responsibility representative, Dr. Ainul Husana, was on hand to receive the goods. It makes me very sad when I read stories or see videos. Life is too short, so let us do everything we can to help people now. We can also do our part by obeying the movement control order set up by the government to help flatten the curve and stop the spread of the deadly virus, said the sugar baby.
I can just imagine her sugar daddy being like, come over, and her being like, no, it's not allowed. Now
no, daddy, we have to help flatten the curve. And then he's like, respect, here's some extra allowance for you.
What an awesome person. I love her.
I love this sugar baby. How can she become my sugar baby? I'll give her money so she can give it to the coronavirus.
You don't have money.
Well, that's true. I don't have a job. Sugarbook describes itself as an online dating brand that helps members facilitate honest relationships with affluent members from across the world. The niche dating platform, founded in 2017, claims to have over 700,000 members. So, follow-up point, guys, if you are looking for young sugar daddies, apparently Sugarbook is the place to go.
They've got it. They've got the goods.
They've got the goods there. They will give you money to give to coronavirus victims. And now,
don't use that money for yourselves. Now is not the time. So don't go buying diamond rings and PlayStations. Go buy hospital supplies. Well, actually, the hospital supplies should technically be provided by governments, but this isn't a socialist world, Chris. This is, disgusting socialism, awful. This is sugar babies world. I don't know where I'm going with that, but if you're a sugar baby, kind of a fucking horrific indictment of society now that we break it down like that, huh?
That now we know society is relying on sugar babies donating their monthly allowance to the hospitals so they have supplies for frontline workers.
Well, that really changes my perspective on the whole thing. Glad she did that. Horrified she had to.
Horrified she had to, indeed. It's like that story that's been floating around, the really wholesome one about the old man who's been doing laps of his backyard in England to raise money for the NHS, which, as far as I'm aware, NHS has the word national in its name, which implies it's funded nationally. But anyway, let's move on. Sugar baby, good on you. If you're a sugar baby, give money to COVID. If you're a sugar daddy, give extra allowance for your sugar babies to give money to COVID.
Exactly.
Society's problems are solved.
Christ. Can I bring you a story from 9 News?
Sure.
This one's written by Chanel Zagon. The headline reads, Victorian man driving to Western Australia to visit sister with coronavirus stopped for his sticky-taped door. This one was sent to me by my dad. Thank you to my dad. A Victorian man driving to Western Australia has been stopped by the police on the road due to his car being held together by sticky tape. The 63-year-old driver claimed he was embarking on the mammoth 3,400-kilometre journey to visit his sister, who was sick with coronavirus. Somerville Highway Patrol officers busted the man driving the white Daewoo Lanos with some slight safety issues in Mornington today about 10:30 a.m.
I mean, that's one way to put it. Slight safety issues.
The car fail comes as Operation Nexus is underway in Victoria, with police cracking down on road safety as well as COVID-19 breaches over the Easter long weekend.
Sure.
So the rest of it is actually just explaining that, and I'm not reading it, but I am going to describe this car to you.
Okay.
Because the article doesn't, which is fucking wild.
That's really sad.
Yeah. So he's basically... One of the doors is just not there. And in its place is two pieces of what looks like either cardboard or very thin plywood.
Sure.
That are white, the same colour as the car, just kind of propped up against the inside. And then some what looks like brown packing tape has been just sort of like strapped from top to bottom and left to right in kind of like a crucifix shape.
I mean, sure, that's a choice. That's a choice.
It doesn't look... One of the pieces is coming off. It doesn't look super secure.
Is it bad that listening to this, I can think of at least 3 friends that I have who could potentially have been driving that car?
I mean, it's not...
But, it wouldn't shock me to hear that it was in fact their car that was being described and driven in this news story.
I just want to see how much of a car you could build out of craft supplies and have it still legally be a car.
Well,
most
still legally be a car. That's where you lost me.
Well, what about
on that.
not legally but practically be a car? Like it
can
serves
still
the
be
function.
driven.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, you could just do a cardboard box with wheels made out of milk container, not milk container.
Made out of milk container.
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me today? Made out of ice cream container lids, the round ones, are the wheels.
My worry, Alison, is that when you get up to 100 kilometres an hour, it's not going to hold up to the wind forces.
So you're saying it has to be driven on a freeway?
Yes.
Freeway speeds.
I want this to be usable as my everyday car. Like,
Sure. So
I'm thinking, like, if you take, say... Cars have, like a frame, and then it's all, like, metal panels and shit on the outside, right?
I guess so, yeah.
So, yeah, let's just lose all those metal panels for a start. Replace them with one big blanket that we peg down with clothesline pegs. And just sort of cut a hole in for the windscreen. You don't need a windscreen, do you? I think that's fine.
I mean, the bugs and stuff can enter your mouth. It might be extra protein.
That's true.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can just put up, like, a fly screen in front, so it's just like a mesh.
A sharp mesh like your stomach after eating grains.
Exactly. So I want to have...
Absolutely.
Well, if we want to make it organic, we can get someone to donate their stomach, and then we can stretch that out and use that as our mesh.
Exactly. After you have, in fact, eaten a piece of...
Someone who's killed by grain, who gets leaky stomach syndrome, they can have their tummy stretched out over the front of my car, and that's basically a window.
Sure. Why not?
Wheels. I'm thinking big wheels of cheese.
I don't want to smell that when it goes really hot and the friction of the road.
It would melt slowly in your car.
It would slowly melt and become quite yucky.
It'd become kind of like a
slippery
runway on the highway, which I think is very fun.
I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that.
Fair enough. Do you have another story then, Alison?
Shall we get into another crime story while we're on the topic?
Why not? Let's do it.
This story, it's a story. But anyway, what really got me is the circumstances under which this happened. So I'm reading from the Newcastle Herald by Nick Bealby. And it says, police hunt Cessnock jail escapee who allegedly found keys. And so we've got a photo of the escapee here. I'm just going to read the story. Vaughan Grimston, a 30-year-old Cessnock Correctional Facility inmate who allegedly escaped on Wednesday, has been arrested and will face court on Thursday. Police began a manhunt after the 30-year-old was reported missing at about 11:15 a.m. They attended a Cooper Street address at about 6 p.m. after a reported sighting of a man fitting his description. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So that's the update of the story, and this is the original report. It said, police are searching for a prisoner who escaped from a Hunter jail on Wednesday morning after finding keys dropped by a prison staff member. I mean, at that point, you're not really illegally escaping, you're just kind of... unlocking the door and letting yourself out.
At that point, you're also not really a prison staff member because you have been summarily fired. Like...
Right. dropped by a former prison staff member, perhaps. I should make it clear that this guy was charged with escaping lawful custody. So I feel like he's probably escaped custody before, but maybe it wasn't as easy as it was this time.
This kind of feels like he managed to engage the God mode of, like, the prison break.
Look, this is like a video game, an early Nintendo 64 game where you have to find the keys laying around on the floor to open the doors to go through doors.
Well, it's like...
He did that in real life.
It's like in one of those things where it's like escape the prison or whatever, and there's lots of different ways you can do it. You can pick the lock, you can break down the wall. But if you just wait for 2 minutes, one of the guards will drop
right in the
keys.
starting room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know that.
Exactly.
So everyone just runs out immediately and starts looking at everything. But if you wait, the keys will be dropped.
And that's the game designer's way of telling the player, slow down, you're an idiot. You should have tried to stay in the main room.
That's really cool. That's life. Vaughn Grimston allegedly took a car from Cessnock Correctional Centre at about 11:15 a.m. Police believe the 30-year-old is headed for the Central Coast or Sydney metro area where he has connections. Grimston was being held in
do you count as my connections? Isn't connections just a euphemism for people they know?
Associates? I don't know.
Friends?
Right. Friends, family, Facebook friends, mutual followers on Twitter.
I think we should call them Facebook connections.
Sure. LinkedIn connections. He had a LinkedIn follower on Twitter. A LinkedIn follower on Twitter. What the fuck am I on about?
I don't know. You seem a bit out of it.
I think I am quite out of it. I'm becoming corona delirious. Grimston was being held in minimum security at the Lindsay Street facility. Yeah, no shit, it's minimum security if there's just fucking keys.
Just everywhere. There's just keys all over the place. It's very self-directed prison. It's like a... It's all about good behaviour bonds. So
right, exactly. The Newcastle Herald understands he allegedly fled after finding a set of keys unattended. It is understood Grimston was on grounds maintenance duty when he found the keys that had been dropped by a prison staff member.
Love it.
Oh, that's great.
Fair enough.
You know what? At that point, you've got the keys. Legally, you're allowed to let yourself out. That's how the law works.
That's your, like, I am the captain now moment. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You own the property.
I think even if you didn't want to escape, maybe this guy, Vaughn Grimston, perhaps he's an honest guy, Chris. He wanted to serve his sentence, get through the court, do all those things that he's supposed to do. But when he saw the keys, he couldn't not. I mean,
maybe he thought
the keys were there, Chris. You have to do it.
Well, you know how, like, the law is so confusing and vague. Maybe he was like, oh, this is their way of telling me I've got an early release.
Right, exactly. He's like, I've been a good boy. I've been doing my grounds duty.
Because it's such a chill prison. They're just like, no, just let yourself out. You'll be right.
In this minimum security prison, they just give everyone, like, a master skeleton key to all of the different rooms. And they're like, look, we trust you.
They give you a skeleton key. They give you a skeleton key and a gun, and they say it's what you do with this that will define how well you get prison.
Well, I think what really happened here is it doesn't... sure, they're saying in this news article, but you know the news, Chris.
Oh,
the news. Right, exactly. What I think really happened and what I think they're not explaining here was that, in fact, he was released from prison. He was allowed to legally let himself out. But because when he was driving away from prison, he wasn't heading to a gym training session, he had no legal reason to be out. So they're like, Vaughn, you've got to get back inside because it's coronavirus.
Had he said, I'm going to go pump some iron, or I'm going to work, or I'm horny, like, that would have been a legally acceptable...
Exactly. If he was wearing his LuLaRoe leggings and he had his Coles or Woolworths green bag with him, he would have been able to go free.
Poor bastard.
Well, Vaughn, you had your opportunity, you found the keys, you didn't have a green bag, so next time, keep that in mind.
Ask the prison to write you a note.
Permission slip to go... Well, that's basically what we've got to do these days, right? To go out, you basically need a permission slip from the cops to leave your house.
I have a permission slip from my work, and I've been just carrying that on my person at all times, even when I do, like, my groceries and shit. Can I...
Go ahead.
bring you a story from boredpanda.com. This one was submitted to me by my sister, Sophie.
Okay, and is it about the pandas from last week that were bored enough to fuck after however long it was?
It's not, and sorry, It's just getting mad at me for having an ad blocker on, so let me see if I can fix this.
Well, that's really bad.
Yeah. Okay. This is a wholesome, cute story.
Okay, we have a couple of wholesome stories this week. That's nice.
2-year-old girl loses her beloved stuffed dog at the hotel. Staff documents his adventures before shipping him back home.
That's cute.
Children have the ability to form strong attachments to cuddly toys, blankets, and other comfort items. These precious things are a big part of a kid's life, and they simply can't live without them. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's accurate. When I was a kid, my family and I went to a restaurant in the town where my grandparents live, and I brought all of my many Thomas the Tank Engines with me. And
as you do as a child, you bring literally every Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, and I left all of them there. And my parents told me later on that they had never seen me more distraught about anything in my entire life than when I lost all of my Thomas the Tank Engines. They did replace them, thankfully, because they're good parents. Anyway, all parents know how devastating it is for their child to lose their beloved toys. Yet sometimes accidents happen, and their playthings get left behind at airports, stores, and other places. That's exactly what happened to a little girl named Juniper, who lost her beloved stuffed dog named Ruff Ruff at a hotel. Choice stuffed dog name.
It is. I mean, it's a good name. It's a good name. I can't criticize it. It's a child.
No. However, the girl wasn't sad for long, as the toy quickly found its way back to her in the most wholesome way. Earlier this month, Juniper's mum, Alison, posted the story about her 2-year-old losing and getting reunited with Ruff Ruff. The toy was accidentally left behind at a hotel during a soccer tournament.
Oh no.
We knew we left it at the hotel since we were in a hurry to leave that morning, Alison told Bored Panda. According to her mum, Juniper was left in tears when she realised her favourite toy was no longer with her, so she decided to call the staff and ask if they had seen him. They said they would check with housekeeping right away and let us know if anyone spotted him, the mother said. To Alison's surprise, a few days later, the toy was delivered back to Juniper, but that wasn't all. The employees of the hotel made sure that Ruff Ruff would have a good time while he was away from Juniper, so they took...
I'm sure Ruff Ruff got into all sorts of shenanigans that they weren't allowed to document legally.
There's a lot of photos missing.
But the photos weren't of that. Yeah, there's a lot of times where there's like a 2-hour period missing from Ruff Ruff's photo series.
There's like a photo of Ruff Ruff snorting cocaine off like a woman's breasts, but that was not included.
That was not included. No. Yeah, and they had a photo of Ruff Ruff enjoying a drink at the pub, right, at the hotel bar, and then later there was a photo of Ruff Ruff sleep soundly in what probably isn't his bed.
There was a photo of Ruff Ruff throwing up in the alley behind the pub. There was a photo of Ruff Ruff.
That was cut.
There was a photo of Ruff Ruff drinking out of the big funnel that you pour booze in, like that one Prime Minister who I forget.
Oh my god, who did that?
I don't know, my dad never shuts up about it.
Fucking hell.
To Alison's surprise... Wait, no, I've already read that bit. So here are some photos that I'll just describe.
Sure.
So there's one of... Ruff Ruff sitting next to a fruit bowl and holding some cookies. One of
That's good.
Ruff Ruff sitting on a desk at an office talking on the phone and operating an HP branded computer mouse.
Well, we don't know what he was doing on that phone or computer.
There's one very good one of Ruff Ruff tucked in under the sheets of a big double bed, and he's just like the top half of him's just kind of poking out.
That's good. That's good content.
There's Ruff Ruff on a recliner at the pool with a pair of Ray-Bans and a towel on top of him.
You know, I feel like in an ordinary time, if you're working in a hotel, you probably don't have time to, like, do all this to a toy dog. But in coronavirus, you got all the time. Ruff Ruff is probably the only customer at this hotel.
That's just excellent service.
Absolutely.
There's one of Ruff Ruff typing on a computer, on a keyboard. The monitor is propped up on top of a cardboard box. Mm-hmm. That's all of the official photos of Ruff Ruff. But, like...
Sure.
you don't know what's just out of frame.
That's the photos that were allowed to be posted online relating to this story.
Yeah. Like, there's a photo of Ruff Ruff at a nudist beach. There's a photo of Ruff Ruff skydiving. And that one's not, like, naughty. It's just a bit dangerous.
There's a photo of Ruff Ruff ejecting himself from a fighter jet in France, funnily enough.
There's a photo of Ruff Ruff eating the devil's food, seeds.
And there's a really blurry photo of what looks to be a virus somehow in the cell debris.
Of course, these photos are all real, and you can tell they were taken on a camera, not an electron microscope.
Right, because electron microscopes can't take photos in 4K high res.
Yeah, exactly, and these are very high quality photographs. Do you have a final story for us, Alison?
Let's finish up with some snakes, Chris. We haven't had snakes in a few episodes.
Music to my ears. I'm genuine. Okay, I need you to understand. I genuinely got happy and like elated and excited when you said the word snakes.
Yeah, exactly. This is the classic content that we are known for. This is what we serve up. This is what we serve up in the post-corona world and the pre-corona world. And we will continue to serve up post-corona. But here is a coronial world snake story for you guys, specially from me.
I worry that this podcast has tainted how I see snakes, because when I was growing up in Armidale, my family lives on this property, and I would catch the bus home from school.
Sure.
And I had to walk over this, like, up the driveway, which is like 1 kilometre long, and there's a cattle grid about halfway up it. And in summer, 100% of the time, there would be these big two motherfuckers brown snakes underneath that cattle grid.
Lovely. Just waiting. Just waiting to nibble your little boy legs.
Exactly. And I think nowadays, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, who's our good boy? Who's our good boy, Snicky Snake?
Exactly. You'd be like, this is content, you say, as you lift the snake's mouth to your leg to get bitten by it.
I'm going to start vlogging the snake.
Snake handlers completely baffled after Canberra family finds 19 venomous eastern brown snake hatchlings in their home.
Holy shit.
That's not ideal, right?
That's a lot of them.
And here's the thing. You're in lockdown in your home. You can't leave. And now there are 19 venomous eastern brown snake hatchlings just in your home.
The police go up to, like, a family at the park and they're like, why are you outside? And they're like, there are 19 brown snakes in our house.
And the cop's like, how did they get
this? And the cop's like, that's an $11,000 fine and we're going to give you 19 of them.
Right, exactly. One for each snake. This is on ABC News and it's by Peter Doherty. And in fact, this is from today, day of recording.
Whoa.
Many Canberrans will recall the hailstorm that swept through the capital in January. But for one family, it brought some unexpected and unwelcome visitors into their home. That's not very nice.
It's not, but also
do you think if they were white snakes, they'd be welcome?
Oh, shit.
Chew on that for a second, Chris.
Shit.
A total of 19 eastern brown snake hatchlings were found over the course of a few weeks in a house in North Canberra, following the extreme weather event.
Kept discovering more of them. They were hidden around like little fun Easter eggs.
They're like kids doing the Easter egg hunt on Easter Day, and they're just finding all these like brown snakes that have freshly hatched from their snake eggs.
Oh my god.
Snake handlers believe the downpour swept the hatchlings into a drainage shaft of the house, and they settled in. The first 2 eastern brown hatchlings were discovered when they slithered their way into the family rumpus room, nestling into a tower that was being used to block bushfire smoke.
Oh, Christ. Jesus. That's some apocalyptic shit right there. That's just like everything's going wrong.
You've just had a really huge hailstorm. And then you put a towel there to block the bushfire smoke, which is happening at the same time as the hailstorm. And then there's just 2 little snakes chilling in the towel.
You remember how at the start of the year there was like everything was on fire and then everything flooded and now there's the Roni?
Everything's corona.
It just hasn't been an awesome one. It's just what I'm saying.
It's not been great. The snakes, which are venomous, were discovered when a woman in the house shook the towel out. She was bitten when she tried to stop one of the snakes from attacking her cat. I didn't recognise these 2 little things all twisted up. I thought it was a millipede. The woman who's...
Oh, God.
I mean, it's kind of the opposite of a millipede in terms of number of legs.
That's true, actually. It's just like a one-pede, a single pede.
Well, a nunipede.
Nunipede.
In fact, because it's got no legs. Luckily, the woman's mother recognised the deadly species thanks to a snake awareness course she had completed just a few months earlier. I do like that this mother, who is presumably elderly...
She's
or
ready.
Older. She's retired. She's got nothing to do, so she does a random TAFE snake awareness course. And then the snakes come into her home to make her studying worthwhile.
Well, it's obviously the correct choice, and she's gotten her money's worth out of it.
Absolutely. Mum is the real hero in this, the woman said, explaining that her mum went straight for the compression bandage she had given the family after the course, which slowed the spread of the venom. This is great.
Holy shit, what a pro.
What a pro, exactly. She knew what to do. She had the bandage ready because of the snake awareness course. Maybe this whole story is an ad for the snake awareness course. It probably is.
It's making me want to do a snake awareness course.
Well, I want to do a snake awareness course right now.
Yeah.
ACT snake removals owner Gavin Smith, who ran the snake awareness course and responded to the family's call for help, said the mother had potentially saved her daughter from serious health implications. The person administering the first aid had only recently attended a training session and knew exactly what to do.
Can I just say that serious health implications is a fun way of saying death?
Yeah, there sure is. They kept calm and kept completely still and called 000 and got the person to hospital. But the story did not end there.
Oh my God.
This is Gavin Smith, he's got his press release.
Yeah.
His comms team is working overtime because they've got this. His snake awareness course saved a life, but little did he know. In fact, ACT snake removals were called to the house an additional 5 times. Mr. Smith was in disbelief when the woman called a couple of weeks later for 2 more snakes, which she had found in the rumpus room and in the toilet.
Oh, no.
You pinch yourself. It had already been quite an intense event because of the fact the lady was bitten and venomated, he said.
That's not a word.
Well, it is according to Gavin Smith. He's the expert on snakes. During a third call-out, the snake catchers found another 11 snakes in a shaft outside the window.
Holy shit.
The fourth call saw a baby eastern brown removed from the rumpus room. It was stuck on some duct tape, which the homeowners had used to seal various gaps.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Smith was able to take it home and remove it safely from the duct tape using cooking oil.
I love these people's paper mache ass house that they're living in.
Absolutely. Look, I really don't think this story is... we've talked a bit about the snake handler conspiracy theory that all snake handlers release the snakes into the house to make the story so they can get customers. I don't think the story is helping that conspiracy theory. I think it's really...
I think it's the same 2 snakes over and over again.
Absolutely. It's the same snakes that he's releasing over and over again into this house.
Gavin just drops them back down the chimney. They go... Well, because they end up in the same place every time.
Right, they're always in the rumpus room. The snake has an attachment to that rumpus room. It's got, it's been trained to go into the rumpus room. Every night, Gavin pops over to the house and he trains the snake. He's like, okay, this is where you go, right, to the rumpus room. And they're all asleep, they don't notice. He's
taught the snake sign language. It can actually make the shapes with its slinky body.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's got no legs. Perhaps the first snake, so that it could bite the person. He wanted the person to grab the snake so it bites them.
Yeah.
Perhaps he taped
You have to
some little
establish
pieces
the
of
stakes of the situation. It's
right.
like how they kill someone at the start of a movie.
Exactly. So what he's done is he's masking taped some pipe cleaners to the snake, like legs, so the lady thinks it's a millipede and picks it up and it bites her. And then...
No, he didn't even do that. He just got like a permanent marker and wrote, "I'm a millipede" on the back of it.
Millipede. Milepead. And that's what he wrote on the snake. Millipede.
That was the most beautiful piece of anti-comedy that I've ever heard, Alison. I need you to know that. You fucking idiot.
There's not much else for the story. There was a lot of snakes in the house. Look, I'm going to read this last little bit, though, because I like this. The woman said Mr. Smith and his team helped her family transform the experience into a positive. "We coped really well as a family," Simply because of Alex and Gavin's care and concern, she said. No advertising there, no SpawnCon there. They spent time explaining to the children that the snakes weren't sneaking into their house. That really took away the idea of the predatory thing coming into our home. They weren't sneaking in because Gavin was bringing them in himself.
But also, surely that's scarier because that's like the calls coming from inside the house kind of thing.
It is.
The snakes are already here.
Look, kids, the snakes aren't sneaking in. They are in the house, okay? They're not coming in through the gaps. Don't worry, kids. They're not coming in from the gaps. They're already inside.
Don't bother waiting, kids. You're already dead. Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time.
What a story, hey? What a story.
Let's wrap up.
Let's wrap up indeed.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menacecast or on Facebook at The Red Menace Podcast. You can find our sick merch at tpublic.com. That's all the things, right?
That's the things that we usually say, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So if I can give any final wisdom, it's don't trust snake catchers.
And don't eat grains because they will cut open your stomach.
Don't eat grains if you don't want to have leaky tummy.
And the little snakes will crawl their way in through the holes in your flesh that have been put there by the grains.
You'll cut yourself and snakes will come out. This is real dangerous.
It's really yucky. Really yucky. That's what's going to happen to you if you don't.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Good luck and good night.
Good night.
Lizards unite.